Coming from a rural background to becoming an executive director of one of Zimbabwe's powerful organizations is our guest today. This is her story. I am Christina Nyirenda. And today on the show, we have Polisile Ncube-Chiminhi. Polisile is the executive director of the Zimbabwe Music Rights Association. But today, she's here to talk about herself. So this is her story. Now, Polisile, welcome to Her Story.
Thank you, Christine.
Now, people look at you now and they see this powerful woman. But I always say that there's the story behind the story, the background. Polisile, tell us a little bit about how you grew up, where you grew up.
Okay. I was born in 1971 at Mpilo Hospital. My dad was a businessman. He was a polygamist. He had 5 wives. But he could manage his family with 27. Our dad was providing for the family. Then the time came, what they call the moment of madness, the Kukura Hundi. That's the time he was killed and tables turned. Our mothers were housewives who didn't go to work, and then all of a sudden we are faced with 5 children. From my mother's side, we are 5, we were 10 initially. She lost 5 daughters, so I remained as the only daughter with 4 boys. That's how my name came. Polisile means comforter. Yeah, because I came as a blessing. So now our dad is dead and the mom is not going to work, but the children have to go to school, you have to eat, you need clothes. So she had to look for work as a housemaid. She got work with this white family, good family. So she then managed to take us to school through her salary as a housemaid. And for me, it was a blessing in disguise, because this white family is what made me manage to go to Townsend High School. During those years, early 80s, Townsend was still for the elite.
Absolutely.
And mostly white people. And with the position my mom was, there's no way I could have gone there. But I was a brilliant little girl, and this white family loved me, so they got a place for me at Townsend after I finished my grade 7. My primary school, I did it first at Ncube Primary School, which is Ncube Township. And then I went to Manyeu Primary School in Tumbane. Then when a new school was built in Tabeng, that's where I ended up and did my grade 7, and then I moved to Townsend because my mom used to stay at suburbs with her employers. So I came up with flying colors in grade 7. So when the white family heard about that, they said, she can come, where is she going for Form 1? And my mom was finding a bush boarding school for me. And then the lady was like, no, you can't take her there. Bring her here, we'll find a place for a Townsend, and then she can do well. So that's how I got it.
And you stayed with your mom that time as well?
Then I stayed with my mom. We were staying in the boys' kaya and all that. I used to get a lot of ridicule from other children. They're like, Polly stays in the boys' kaya, what? But I think the determination that I had, that never got into me. I continued with my school. I used to like reading. I remember at one stage my brothers gave me the nickname Feichu.
She was Minister of Education
at that time, yeah, because it was always me and my books and things like that. but I had a very bad handwriting. Still bad, but
But do you know something? They usually say that people with bad handwriting are the most intelligent. Look at the doctors. You can hardly read their handwriting.
yeah, I've heard that. Yeah. So my brothers would say you would not even go through your O level because no examiner would mark your script because you're writing like you're using your toes, things like that. And I remember when I was in grade 5, we used to have a strict teacher. You would line up out of class every morning and you have this paragraph you've been given to write. You're just repeating words like Peter Pepper picked a peck of pickled pepper, and you're just repeating a whole paragraph of those things just so you practice your handwriting. At first he would hit me every day until he gave up. So you just pass when it comes to me because I couldn't change my
handwriting.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing though, because I think there's just so much that has changed from the time when you were at school to the way schools are now, the way education is now.
Sure.
So and then for your high school?
My high school,
what are some of the memories you have?
I'm trying to remember. Well, I couldn't do sport for one reason. I had whooping cough as a child, so I was not allowed to run. I was not allowed to be in a stuffy room or things like that. So I ended up playing chess, and chess contributed a lot to where I am today because it really opened my mind, my brain, so to speak. By the time I was Form 3, I was the best chess player in Bulawayo. Not only on the girls' side, but even the boys and the adults.
Well, we're going to take a short break. I know with your job right now, chess also seems to still play a big role. So the skills. This is her story, and sharing her story with us today is Polisile Ncube-Chiminhi. Now, Polisile, just before the break, you were telling us about your very colorful growing up. First having everything, and then unfortunately your dad passed away, and then obviously life changed. And we're now talking about your high school experience, where because you couldn't do sport because of an illness, you had to then find other activities to do, one of them which was chess. And so I was just saying that chess must have taught you quite a few things that you are even using now. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about high school and then after high school.
Okay, so that chess really took me into high levels. I have a diploma in chess. It's called the FIDE Master from the World Chess Federation. Because I went on to represent my school throughout the country and then went on to represent the country outside Zimbabwe. Yeah, then I'll leave that one there. I stopped playing chess when I became serious going to church because we play chess on Saturday and Sunday. So when I finished my O level, I had to weigh my options. If I went for sciences or arts, it would mean I would have to go straight to university after that. But then my mom didn't have the money to pay for university. So I went for commercials, the pitman's qualifications.
Those days there was what, shorthand, typing?
There was shorthand, typing, business for English, office practice, bookkeeping. It was a lot of those commercial things. And then after I finished those, I went straight to look for a job. I found a job in a small company. It was called Golden Moments. Actually, I had been there before. I used to do part-time because my mom couldn't afford all the school fees, so I had to help her. So Saturdays, Sundays, after school, since I was not doing much of sport, I would go. This company was dealing with wedding stuff, decorations, discos, photography, video filming. So at one stage I was a disc jockey.
Oh.
And I remember it was a popular one. People would come and say, "Want the lady DJ?" And then I used to take photographs, videos. We used to go decorating the wedding venues, things like that. So after I finished my pitman qualifications, they took me back. Now I was the secretary to the owner, who was the director. Yeah, but then I didn't feel like it was a good job for me. You know, like when people are used to you, they don't even pay you well. And then I wanted something different. So I looked for another job and I found one as an admin assistant at a company called whatever, I don't remember the name now. And then I decided I wanted to leave Bulawayo and go to a different place altogether. You know, there's always been this belief that Harare is a better place to find a better job.
The great trek to Harare, I know about that one.
And it helped. Look at me today. So I came to Harare and I looked for a job through these companies that look for jobs for you. And they found me 3 companies. I went for interviews. I passed. One of them was Zimbabwe Music Rights. It was paying the least at the time for a secretary stroke admin assistant. And then I decided which one do I really want here. And I was like, Zimbabwe Music Rights, what do you do? They told me, oh, some musicians come here really in real life. And I was like, okay, so this is the job I want to take because I want to meet Paul Matai, Leonard Dembo, Masha Mume. Those were my best at the time. So I took the job and I grew step by step until where I am right now. First, I was promoted to the post of assistant general manager. When the lady who had established the organization, Gila Tinson, was still there. And then she retired in 2001. And then I was promoted to the post of general manager. So when I was already high there and I still had these pitman qualifications, I decided I needed to upgrade my education. That's when I started doing the LCCI diploma in principles and practice of management, because I was already a manager without having studied management. Then I did that diploma for 2 years, from 2003 to 2005. Then in 2006, I applied to UNISA, and I was told you need to do some other course before we can offer you a degree program. So I did a program in specialization in intellectual property. I already knew a lot about intellectual property, by the way.
Particularly from the music rights background.
Yes. And I would have practicing lawyers calling me, asking about copyright. And then I realized, I should study law so that I have both. So after finishing that UNISA program in 2005, I went to the intellectual property course. As soon as I finished it in 2008, I started my law program, which I finished in 2014. And then in 2016, I went for my master's in intellectual property at the Africa University.
Wow, you know, this is like so amazing to think that you decided to then do your tertiary education way later. And I think a lot of people actually think, education and then university, if I go to school and then I go to university, my life is done. But you know, you are such a trailblazer in that area, because you're saying, you know what, you don't have to stop.
Yeah, I actually got my first degree when I was about 40. Yes, and this master's in intellectual property, I did it under RIPO and WIPO, and they only offer it to people who are less than 40 years old. So I asked them to give me the chance.
A special...
Because I told them I couldn't do my degree before I was 40 because of financial problems. But now that I have the first degree and I'm already in the field, give me the chance.
Wow.
And And they believed me, they gave me the chance, and I didn't disappoint.
And this is really encouraging for a lot of people to know that, with perseverance, with focus, you can do anything, and it doesn't matter how old you are. So I know you're going to tell us a lot more about what you're doing now after the break. So we have Polisile Ncube-Chiminhi with us, sharing her story with us today. So join us again after the break, right here on 3KTV. Back, this is her story, and with us today is Polisile Ncube-Chiminhi. Now, Polisile, before the break, we were now talking about your growing up and then obviously your professional life, how you started and where you are today. And I think one of my key takeaways is that you can do education at any age.
Sure.
And your first degree was after 40. And then also that you persevered. There was a course that you did where they said it's for under 40s. That is not nice. I guess all of us wouldn't qualify right now. But you got a special dispensation, as it were, and you were allowed to do it.
Yeah.
Now, so here you are today, an executive director. And I know that there's a lot of things that you are doing as well to assist the less privileged in society. Tell us about that.
Okay, so during my spare time, me with a few friends of mine, we decided we should give back to the community. So what we do is we identify disabled girls particularly, because we want to empower the girl child. Then we source wheelchairs for these girls. So far we've given 2 of them, one in Mrewa, the other one in Wonde Valley. We were stopped by the COVID period because we started this in 2020, and then COVID kicked in, and then we were on standby for almost 3 years. So the second wheelchair, we only took it to Wonde Valley last year in October. Yeah, and besides that, I also manufacture detergents. Yeah, in my community, I teach ladies how to manufacture detergents. So we don't buy bubble bath or dishwasher in my house, or even petroleum jelly. We manufacture those. Some we sell, some we use at home. Yeah, so looking at my background and where I am right now, it's part of my wish to see other girls who are disadvantaged making it up to the top. So this is why we are providing wheelchairs to disabled girls so that they can go to school and achieve what they want in life.
That is so amazing. And it's also just great to be able to lift other people up as well.
Sure.
I think when you get to a certain stage and obviously things are better for you, it's always good to give a helping hand to the next person.
Yeah,
and
sure.
you doing just that, which is really great for women, because I think as women, nowadays, a lot of women, we're becoming each other's keeper, making sure that we assist. And also for the next generation as well.
Yeah, sure.
The next generation needs to make a difference in our lives as well. Now, I know with your position right now, obviously for you, a lot of women watching, and men, I know men watch this show as well, a lot of people watching will say, well, how easy was it for you to get to where you are? We talk about discrimination in the workplace. Did you encounter any such situations?
A lot of it. I still do up to today. When I was promoted to the post of assistant general manager, I was still very young. There were men at work and they thought it was a bit off that older men were around and this little girl is being promoted. Someone literally said, nothing's going to come out of this. But I wanted to prove them wrong. And this is one other thing that pushes me, because you are always on the spotlight. Everyone wants to see if you are capable to do what the men can do. So this has pushed me to greater heights, because at some stage, someone would think, this person got there because she was in love with the boss or whatsoever. But my case is different. I've never had a male boss. My boss was female, the one who left the position for me. And then people try and come up with sort of funny stories. Right now, I have 2 cases at court, defamation cases, because someone claims that I have a child with someone that I don't even know, because they are trying to paint you bad. I'm a married person. I have 2 children with 4 grandchildren. And then at work, someone will try and look at you like, this person, it's that type of woman who gets into relationships with whatever man comes away. But it's not like that. You try to live your straight life. People want to see you differently. And from other organizations, you realize that people have got this thinking that all bosses should be men. So half of the correspondence that I get will be directed to Mr. Polisile, and I just laugh.
Yeah.
Maybe when someone writes to you on WhatsApp, they're like, good morning, Mr. So-and-so. I was given your number by so-and-so, and I'm like, okay, fine, but I'm not a mister.
And put them in their place right there. Yeah, because it's not easy being in the limelight. And I'm looking at particularly the organization that you had, music. And people associate music with so much. I mean, basically the entertainment industry, and so it's really, we need to applaud you, because you've steered that ship and it's going on well. And musicians and artists out there, there's a difference to their lives because of what you're doing for them. Now, probably in closing, what advice would you give to maybe a young artist out there of how they can get to the top? I think during one of our breaks we were talking about it, and I was asking about royalties and stuff, whether they exist in Zimbabwe, and obviously they do, but some artists say they don't get, some artists say they do. But what would you say to a young artist who's watching and who wants to become the artist in Zimbabwe?
Okay, what I would say is the young artists, first things first, they have to be original. If you're original and people fall in love with your music, you are sure to succeed. But if you do what we call bubblegum music, it's sweet today and the next day is sour, it means you're not going to get any airplay. Because for one to get airplay, people have to love your music. So if your music is not loved by the people, then you would not make it. Before you get in the industry, you should know what is needed in the industry. You don't just wake up and you're an artist and you know nothing. You don't know anything about copyright. You don't know anything about contracts or things like that. So they first need to do their survey and find out if they can fit in. Yeah, because you don't want to be a square peg in a round hole and you're calling yourself a musician.
Absolutely. Polisile, it's been amazing, and there's never enough time to go through everything, but we've learned so much about you, and I'm sure when people see you now as well, it's a different take. Because normally as a director or as a boss, when you're sitting in the office, people just see a certain face. But it's been wonderful that you came and you shared your story with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. That was Polisile Ncube-Chiminhi, who was telling us her story on Her Story with us today. So remember, it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter what happens in life. You might have the best life and then things go down, and then you pick yourself up and you persevere and you continue working and be like Polisile, even getting her degree after age 40. And she's here right now as an executive director. So join us again next time right here on her story as we speak with another phenomenal woman. I am Christina Nyirenda. So from the crew behind the scenes and myself, remember to continue watching 3K TV, the best of Zimbabwe.